All right, all right. I'm so excited. Welcome everybody to our weekly team huddle. I am so excited that we get to start our week with all of you guys this evening. And
Me too.
we have a super special treat for you guys tonight. We have Aspen Emry that is going to be joining us in just a minute, and she is one of our field development regionals with It Works. But one of the reasons that we wanted to center, or one of the things we wanted to center this call around tonight was just creating a sense of urgency and what that looks like in your business, how to, hit the ground running and get started to be super, super successful and go Ruby in your first little bit, whatever your goal is, if that's this month or next month. We think you guys can do it this month. And if you do it this month, there's a super awesome Ruby gift in store for you guys that's worth $200. So one of the things that Mike and I did when we first got started is we've really built this business belly to belly. I love that with It Works, you guys can build this business however you want. You can do it on social media. You can do it on Facebook, Instagram. You could do it at networking events. You could do it by blitzing and talking to people out and about. Or you can also do it by wrap parties and what we call belly to belly. And that just means talking to people, getting into people's homes, people's houses, having conversations with people. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Aspen on is because you guys, I couldn't think of anybody better than her to talk to you guys about this.
Yeah, we have big goals this month. We have big goals for all of you. And what that is going to take is action. And if there's one thing about Aspen that I can say is she just gets it done. She is a girl that she will just pick up the phone and do what needs to be done. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear from her.
Yep. So we're going to hear from her, and then we're going to talk about kind of some do's and don'ts of messaging and then how to go Ruby. But one of the reasons why we wanted to have Aspen on, Mike and I were talking the other day about who we wanted on this call. Okay. And, somebody like Jade Hooper, who is, number 7 in our company in Commerner, came to mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jade would love to do, something with our team. But as we were sitting here talking about all these awesome ambassadors that we could get to talk to you guys tonight, you guys, I don't know anybody better at what we're going to talk about than Aspen. You all know that I personally know her. Her and I have been friends now for, 8 years, something crazy like that. And she's built to the highest level of multiple other companies. And she has been instrumental in teaching me a lot of the things that I did and how I got started off to be successful in this business. And so with no further ado, I would like to bring Aspen on, and I'm going to screen share so you guys can see how cute she is. She's in her daughter's room right now. It's adorable. I love it.
Hi,
well, that's cool. Now I see myself even bigger. Thank you. Well, I'm so glad to be on here tonight. I recognize some familiar faces, of course, and I actually recognize a few names that I've heard have actually just joined the Legacy Leaders team in the last 2 days. So what I want to say to y'all is, if you're new, don't let anything tonight overwhelm you, because if you can take just a couple things away from this, that's plenty. It's being recorded and you can ask questions. So don't let anything scare you.
Yes, absolutely. I love that, you guys, because I think sometimes we hear so much information, we want to just implement all of it. Take a couple of tidbits that she's saying and implement those things. So we got a lot to cover, Aspen. All right, so I would love for you to just start. Ooh, can you fix that? Thank you. And just tell them a little bit about how you got introduced into this industry, into this company, and what happened when you went to Kentucky. Can you tell them about that story?
Yep, I absolutely will. Long story short, my backstory is I'm a high school Spanish teacher. That's what I did by trade. I had my first son, decided I wanted to be home with him. Said, okay, well, teachers often open daycares, so that's what I did. By the time I had 3 boys in 3 years, I realized I was living in my own daycare. And even though I loved children, there was no way I could keep watching everybody else's kids. I had a cleaning business for a while, but I wasn't super happy. My heart was happy because I was home with my 3 little boys, but I wasn't happy scrubbing 20 toilets a week that weren't my own. And I teased sometimes. Trying to see who it is.
Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself. Oh, you're still muted.
I joke sometimes that I don't even enjoy cleaning my own toilets, let alone 27 other toilets every week. But you know what? If you've ever wanted something really bad, which for me it was being home, you know what it's like to do whatever you have to do. And I know some of you on here personally have done just that. So needless to say, I was ready. I just didn't know it when somebody introduced me to this industry. And I know some of you can relate to that because I've heard a lot of you say, I wasn't looking for It Works, but It Works found me. Well, I wasn't looking for network marketing or throwing parties or schlepping lipstick on people, but it found me one Sunday sitting at church with a nursing baby. And here's the thing, the girl that started yakking at me in the nursing room about this new thing she was doing, I don't know, she sounded so smart and it sounded amazing. And I told her right then and there that I was going to do it. What's funny about it is later I realized how much she had no idea what she was talking about. I literally joined that company because she was so excited. So lesson number 1 tonight, remember I'm a teacher, is sometimes you can't mess it up. If someone's ripe and ready for a change, even if they don't know it, I joined because of her excitement. So like Ashley said, I joined a company and had success. I had no clue how to do this. It was so far out of my personality. I'm a pretty outgoing person, but the thought of back then picking up the phone and asking somebody to host a party for me scared me to death. But what scared me to death more was continuing down the road we were going. Because even though I was happy with my life with my kids, I wasn't happy dragging 3 little boys to houses to clean, hoping they didn't touch anything. I was looking for something different. So the transition here is I ended up leaving that company. Even though I had been really successful, there were just some things that happened that caused me to leave. And a while later, I was introduced to a different company. Like a lot of you that have maybe tried something before, you promise you're never going to do it again, but then maybe something grabs you. And so I had a random person on Facebook reach out to me about a business opportunity. And back then, we're talking summer of 2009. So do the math, however many years ago that was. Back then, it was scary when somebody did that. Like, I thought I would be dead by morning. Like, oh my gosh, a stranger has penetrated my world, abort the mission, we are moving. It did scare me that this strange lady had reached out, but she said a few things about this company that intrigued me. And I thought, you know what? I'm someone who will look at a business and give it an honest shot. And I went upstairs and told Brent that I needed to use a work truck and I needed him to pick which 2 kids were staying home and that I would take 2 kids and go to Kentucky because by this point we had 4 little boys under the age of 6. So he kept 1 and 4 and I took 2 and 3 and left within 30 minutes to drive to Kentucky because there was going to be an opportunity meeting there. And halfway there, our truck broke down outside of a prison where there had just been a prison breakout. This sounds like it's a show, but it's my life. And the cops had to come get us out of the search and rescue area. And my boys were 3 and 4, and they'll never forget seeing a gun hanging from the back of the cop car. That was like the highlight of their toddlerhood. So I went to an opportunity meeting, and what's funny is some of you have actually been to a One Team, One Mission before, and a lot of times there are these great things, and there's balloons, and they're amazing. Nope, this opportunity meeting was literally in the lobby of a hotel on those couches that just sit there. There were 6 people there, and I went because some bigwig was going to show up, okay? So I'm like, I'm going to talk to the bigwig. I'm not just talking to a random person. So what I didn't know is the bigwig flew every month to this meeting, and the same 6 people, the same 6 distributors were sitting on those couches in the lobby. They didn't even spring for a room. Okay, so think to yourself, if you've been in It Works for a while, if you've ever done an online party or an in-person wrap party or an event and nobody shows up, or it's the same handful of distributors. Okay, that's what this was. What we didn't know at the time is that his flight had been canceled, and all he was thinking is, why am I even gonna try to get to this meeting. It would be an 11-hour drive for him as well. Same 6 people are the ones that show up every week. This is such a waste, okay? And I know we've all thought that before. This is a waste. But he got in the car and he drove, because you know what you do in this industry is you keep doing the right behaviors. You keep doing enough of those right things, because you never know. He had no way of knowing that this crazy lady from Nebraska just drove 11 hours, broke down, slept in a hotel room with 2 strangers off of Facebook. Cops came and got her, all this crazy stuff. That night there were 7. And that girl showed up, signed up, and within 6 months, 1/3 of the whole company was on her team. Me. That's what happens when you go to Kentucky. So be careful.
Okay, well, I love that story, because I would not be here sitting right here without that story, because that's what got me into network marketing. So that's why I wanted you guys to hear that, because it's the power of that one person. And like Aspen said, we all know what it looks like to go to the, same rap party with the same people. Let's go invite a mom of 4 boys, and we'll hope and pray that she doesn't break down on the side of the road. Okay, so can you tell them a little bit, Aspen, about what happened after you signed up and drove home? Because I love the sense of action that you took, and really that's what you would do now. If you were building in any business, that's what you would do. So can you tell them a little bit about that?
Yep. A couple things happened. I stayed after the meeting, talked to the bigwig, and I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I'm a rainbow of colors. My green and red came out, and I wanted to know details, but then I knew I was in, and I was ready to go. And I knew, because I had success before, that I probably could have called up a few of my friends and been like, hey, do you want to do this thing with me? And they probably would have been okay. But I had learned over the years that no matter how good you are at presenting, there is something amazing that happens when you let your friends talk to somebody else, that third party. I feel like I say to my sister something sometimes over and over, and until somebody else says it, she won't even listen to me. So I immediately, as I'm driving home 11 hours with my brand new alternator and my truck that runs like it's brand new, I got my friends on the phone with the bigwig. I said, hey, will you do 3-way calls? You've got to drive back to DC. I've got to drive back to Nebraska. And within hours, I was able to sign up the first 5 people that I enrolled in that company and got 5 legs of my business going. I got them on the phone with somebody else. And I want to also point out, it was $1,000 to join. So it wasn't one of those free signups. There was no $9.99. I didn't really know exactly what I was saying, but that same excitement that got me to sign up for the first company was getting people to take a look at this. And I was keeping it simple, literally calling them up. And it's been 9 years or whatever, but I don't remember word for word. But I would do the same thing today. I would say, hey, I just drove across the country to take a look at something. It's a really big deal. I am so excited. I'm going straight to the top, and I'm putting a team together. I want you to go with me. I need 10 minutes of your time today to talk to some guy. What time works for you? Now, or do you want me to call back in 10 minutes? That's it. I assumed the sale, and it wasn't really a sale, but it was assuming that why wouldn't they at least give me the time of day to talk to him, right? I mean, they're my friends. And I knew where I was going, even though I was sitting there going, this is exciting, but it's scary. Do I really want to do this again? All those little doubts that creep in once you guys paid the $99, okay? I know they peek in. When you go to bed at night, you're excited and scared, but that didn't come out in my voice. It was the excitement, and we were ready to run. And I said, we're doing it. And when I called it out, it happened.
Will you talk a little bit about part art, part science? You've talked to me about that before, and I love how you explain that and what happens with that third-party validation.
Yep. Well, one of the things that you'll hear sometimes, especially if you've been around for a while, like, oh, it's a numbers game. Oh, this business is a numbers game. If you talk to enough people, you're eventually gonna, enroll somebody. And there is a piece of that that's true. Obviously, if you're talking to 3 people a month, you might have a different story than the person next to you that's talking to 30 people a month, and the girl next to you is talking to 300 people a month. There is some truth to the numbers, and we call that part the science. the science, the math, the technical part, okay? But there's another piece to this. I've never been a numbers person, okay? If it was all about numbers, we'd have very different people in some of our top leadership positions, because there is an art to this business, okay? And in your mind, this is a rhetorical question, but what do you think the art would be? What is there to this besides just the numbers? Okay, think about that for a second. There's, how do you talk to people? How do you know how much to say in that initial message or that initial phone call? How do you keep them curious? How do you tell a good story about it works, but while you're telling it, you're overcoming objections at the same time? Oh my gosh, busy people are so great at this business. I look for busy people. Well, right there, you just took that excuse away. There are so many pieces that are the art, and you learn those over time. And that is why I'm such a huge fan of utilizing your upline. You've heard people say before, I know Walmers have said it, if you don't think you're kind of bugging them, you're not reaching out enough, you guys. If you don't think you're bugging Danny, Danielle, Melissa, Mel, if Lisa Johnson, Jill, Kristen Dronchi, if you don't think you're bugging your upline, you should probably start texting them more. Okay. The more you utilize your upline to Zoom into parties, to, plug them into their Facebook parties or answer questions or screenshot messages, the sooner you learn the art. Because trust me, some of you live in Michigan and you've seen Mike and Ashley present 150 times. And trust me, you've learned a lot of art from watching them. Okay. Some of you've watched me over the years, et cetera, et cetera. That's where the art comes in. And that's why I'm a huge fan of plugging people into a 3-way call, FaceTime, Zoom, let people help you. It's not that we think you're dumb. I always feel like I have to say that to people. We don't think you're dumb. I'm sure you're a great presenter. My friends don't listen as much to me as they would listen to someone else. Even now, if I were to call people up, say they called me tomorrow and said, okay, we need you to go sign up 15 people. They might listen to me, but I'd probably be like, Cammie, I have a few people I would like you to talk to. Ashley, I have a few people I'd like you to. Utilizing someone else. Not that I can't tell the story, but somebody else coming in. There's just something about it that gives credibility. And for you newbies, while you're learning the art of it, having them with you on some of those one-on-ones is super helpful.
I love that. Okay, so let's get into some nitty-gritty stuff. So if you were building a team right now, or think back to like when you have built a team before, like how did you start? What did you do? Like what did you say to your friends? Did you wait for your kit, or did you just get started?
I will say with, kind of like the Kentucky story, I wasn't a waiter. I didn't sit around and wait because I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to learn everything I secretly wished I could learn before I started. And somehow I knew that it was so much more important just to be excited and put myself out there, that people would join me if I showed them that I knew where I was going. Even if secretly I was like, well, I halfway know where I'm going. I'm just going to go do it. By believing that and putting it out there, that belief in where I was going grew in myself day by day, and people joined. But I also don't want to paint a false picture that everybody joined. My sisters didn't join right away. I had several friends that didn't join right away. And a lot of you, like Ashley said, we've known each other. She was on my team in a former business, but we weren't friends before that. A friend of a friend of a neighbor of a friend of a neighbor, some crazy story that she'll probably tell you later. That's how I met her. It wasn't that she was my bestie that joined. And several other people that were leaders on my team weren't those initial contacts, but it didn't stop me from making those contacts. I kept it real simple. Remember, I had several little boys that were toddlers and preschoolers. So I didn't have a ton of time, even though I wanted to learn everything. I just really didn't have the time to do it if I was going to get where I was going. And I knew if I sat around too long, people would kind of get bored with it and we'd never go anywhere. So I just had to jump in and go. Did I answer everything there, Ash? Was there one more question? That was a couple strung together.
Sorry, I think,
okay.
No, yeah, you did. I just kind of wanted you to talk for a second too about like So if you were to start today, like, what would you do? Like, would you pick up the phone? Who would you talk to? Would you talk to one person or 5?
Okay. I'm a phone person, you guys. I love that we've got social media now. It's even fun for me working for the company, thinking up something exciting just to put it out there about the products. I look at social, and I know some people think differently, and that's great. But for me, social would be icing on the cake. No amount of posting would ever take away the impact that just picking up the phone would have. So I might send a brief message saying, I've got something super exciting to talk to you about. When do you have a few minutes to chat? I could give you 10 different examples of things I would say, because I probably wouldn't say the exact same thing to everyone. I might say, I just started something really awesome. I'd love for you to take a look at it. No idea if it's going to interest you, but I know you'll be curious about what I'm doing. When can you talk? There is such power in the phone. And I know some of you are going, okay, I'm going to tune her out right now because I'm all social and I'm just going to build with messages. But there really, really is a big power in getting on the phone. And I would want some of their time, and it's to tell them the story. That's what I would say. Someone in the chat's asking what I would say on the phone. The bottom line of what our job is, in It Works, is we're sharing this story. We're not just calling them up to talk about the eye cream, and we're not just calling them up to say, here's what a ruby is. I look at it as we're in the business. Everybody kind of well, very well, or you're just kind of getting to know, they're all in this column in the middle of a piece of paper called maybe. Right? So I'd start with the same piece of paper that you guys would, and I'd start writing names in the maybe column, Kimberly, Susie, Marie, whatever. I'd start writing them down. People that I want to work with, who are my most fun friends that I think would have a blast with this? Who are my friends that I'm not quite sure, but I know if I call them, even if they said no to the business, they'd probably want to use the product. So I'd start with a list, and they'd all be at the top titled maybe. And I would just be setting appointments to talk to them. And some of them, that might end up that they're going to get on a Facebook party. Some of them might be coming to my launch party, because I would definitely want to have something face-to-face. I'd keep that fun. Hey, I just would love to have you come over and check out what I'm doing, support me. My friend Ashley's coming over. We're going to share with you kind of the story about what we do. I would keep it very simple, but I'd start with that list, and I would just start sorting, and I wouldn't just talk to one. Because when you just talk to one, when they say no, it's easy to get sad. It's easy to get kind of caught up in that. So I'd be talking to enough people that I would be okay if some of them ended up in my not right now column. Okay, because that's bound to happen. Like I said, I tell people all the time, you guys, we look at these ambassadors and presidentials and think, oh my gosh, I would give anything to have that. And I want to tell you a secret. Their friends aren't nicer than yours. Their families aren't better than yours. Okay, their sisters aren't more supportive than yours, and neither are their husbands. Okay, so they started just where you're at. They're where they're at because they just kept going. They just kept sorting people. Yes, not right now. Yes, not right now. Yes, not right now. And they stayed consistent. And maybe at some point their sisters and husbands and parents and all them got on board, and maybe not. But I think sometimes we get so excited thinking they must have had this streak of luck to get where they're going. And really, it's just not that. Okay. Very similar situation to you. They just got consistent. So that's what I'd do. I'd start my list. I'd get real clear on why I was doing it, get to a place where I wanted it bad enough that I'd start going through that list. And like I said, I'd send some messages out. I don't think people this day and age really love just picking up the phone and being put on the spot for a 30-minute presentation. So I'd toss it out there and say, I want to talk to you about something. When can we chat?
Perfect. So when you get them on the phone, really you're trying to set that appointment or invite them to a wrap party, unless they have a little bit of time. And then I would say, you guys, if you're brand new, get a third party on the phone with you. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable going through the party pad, and that's really what I do when I'm on the phone with somebody. If I'm telling the It Works story, I'm thinking in my head about the party pad, and sometimes I'll just grab it and put it in front of me because it's the same story at a party, at a one-on-one, or a three-way call.
Yeah, I mean, it's the story, because you don't know what's going to be the best fit for them. Like, you don't know if they're going to be a yes to the business or a yes to the product, or, you know, a yes to both. Obviously, if they do the business, they're a yes to both. When I was building my first company, I went to my neighbor's house right over there, blue house down the road, talked to her all about the product, sold her a $300 skincare set. She loved it. I didn't say one word about the business, because you know what? Her husband had a great job. She stayed home. They had a big house. They kept buying new stuff. And I thought, oh, seems really weird to like ask her to look at the business. And I didn't. And a year later, when I was driving a free Mercedes, making 5 figures a month, she came to me one day and said, I've been loving this product, loving it. But what's going on like with this business? And why did you never ask me to look at it or tell me anything about it? And I felt like a big dummy. And I said, I stumbled and was like, I just didn't think you'd be interested. And she said, oh, well, I would have been interested, but I just thought you didn't think I would be any good at it. So for a year, she had watched me doing this, thinking, oh, she must not want to do this with me because I see, you know, all her other friends are doing this, but she's never asked me to do it. So I learned that lesson 10 years ago, that I will never do that. You don't know somebody else's situation. So when I say you're just telling the story, you're using that party pad or some of the points from it and just kind of sharing a little bit about the company. You know, we're debt-free, stable, we're 16 years old, started in Michigan, incredible owners, telling them, here's some of our favorite products. You know, we have 40 or 50. I'm not going to tell you about all of them, and you're going to highlight some of the key ones that you see at the beginning of the party pad. And, oh, peek back here, look, there's a few more. And I want to tell you a little bit about why I said yes to the business. I've got these friends, Ashley and Mike Walmer. They were just killing it. And I had been watching them for 6 months and just thought, why not? So I'm running for a $10,000 bonus. And I'm looking for my first 5 people that want to run with me, and there's no one I'd rather work with than you. You just told the story. I mean, you can add a few minutes to that, but it doesn't have to be a 30 or 40-minute one team, one mission presentation. It's real simple. Your excitement's going to speak volumes. And some of the local people here in Nebraska, I've sat down. Part of my job is to go kind of support on some of these one-on-ones. We literally get the party pad out and just turn a few pages and point. It's fabulous. And what we just showed their friend is, this is how easy it is.
Mm-hmm.
The words are on the party pad. You can just read it.
I love that.
Mike loves that.
Yes.
Okay, so something I've heard you talk about before that's always just put a fire in me is when you talk about like having a sense of urgency, not just with your words, but also with your actions. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I just feel like what you say and what you do really needs to align up. And I hadn't really ever put it that way before until I started thinking about it, that you can say all day long, I'm doing this and this is where I'm going. But if you're not making appointments and posting and being consistent, no momentum and urgency really happens. And the reverse is also kind of true. You might be an undercover, super secret, it works agent. Nobody really knows what you're doing. You're trying to get out there. You're attending a lot of things and you're in some activity, but you're not proclaiming, I'm going Ruby this month. It's as good as done. Like blink, it's done. I'm getting that box. I'm going live and I'm opening it because it's driving me stinking crazy wondering what's in it. I'm doing it. When your words and your actions align, there's something crazy awesome that happens, and it's called momentum. It's creating a no matter what attitude of, it's August 7th. Like, it's laughable how much month is left, you guys. Don't feel bad for 1 second if you hadn't done anything, right? Isn't February only 20 some days anyway? Like, people still promote in February. Why not now? Today can be day one, and it is for some of you. Okay, it is for some of you that haven't done anything yet this month or just signed up 2 days ago and don't even know what we're talking about right now. Okay, take a deep breath. We're all good. It can be day one. There's, however many days left. I can't even do that kind of math, but there's so many. But it's make a decision that you're going executive, Ruby, diamond. I know a handful of you on here, like it's diamond or bust. It's a decision. Say it with your words, put it out there, but then your calendar needs to match up with that. Okay. Your calendar needs to reflect that in your activity. Then momentum starts happening. And it's crazy. Momentum is this weird thing where you think you're walking down the street and all of a sudden it's like a shove in the back and you're like running forward and you don't even know what's going on. That's what happens when you get momentum on your business and you create this fire in people and you really have no idea how it starts, but it starts with you. Okay. If you're wondering how to create it, start it with you. And all of a sudden people take suit. They'll sense that in your words and your actions.
I love that. So then how would you feel if I said to you, man, I hope I go Ruby this month?
Okay. I don't love that at all. Stop hoping. We had a lady in Arbonne, my first company that I was with many, many years ago, that she would say when people would say to her, oh, I'm going to try to do this, or I hope I'm going to try this or try that. She would say, trying is just a noisy way of not doing anything. Like, no, you're not trying, you're just doing. So you don't hope you're going diamond this month. You are. It's done. Let's go do it. Let's get some customers and some people. The power of math, figure out the math. It's fine. You're going Ruby this month. You're not trying to go Ruby. You're not hoping that you go Ruby. Because hope is very passive. Like, I believe in hope in a biblical sense, but as far as like a business sense, like Mike, when he owned his company, wasn't like, well, I really would hope to pay the employees this month. No, you're paying them. It's done. You know, my husband owns a company and it's not, well, I hope we make some money this month. No, you've got to do it. So hope is awesome in the spiritual sense, but when it comes to this, we need to just do it.
You know, and it's funny because like I said at the very beginning, like I don't know anybody more than you that like just like makes that happen. And I think you are like the picture of when you want something bad enough, you just go do it and get it done. And you don't say you're doing it, and you travel and you show up and you go, 7 hours to that wrap party, and you don't ask them before, how many guests do you have? Because that number doesn't matter. If it's one, Aspen, would you still go?
Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's what I want you to all know is you can only control you. So the parts of things like that you can control is if you're going to launch a new distributor, make sure you're coaching them on how to invite people. Ashley and Mike have some great scripts and strategies and tips, how to invite people, not to have too much product, plan it X number of days ahead. Like we all know, right? So if you're new and you don't know, like we'll coach you on how to get that all set up. But once that's done, you can only control you. And you is getting there and showing up no matter what. And trust me, my first company, we did lipstick and all sorts of stuff. And there were times I remember driving home 7 hours from Colorado in a blizzard with 3 kids in the back. I sold one lipstick. We had this really great lipstick, $16.50. But I gave her my discount because that seemed a little pricey back then, made $0 and was thinking, how am I going to tell my husband? But I still did it because I never knew when I might find someone like Ashley or someone like Mel or someone like Melissa Otten, I just didn't know. And you never know if you don't go. You don't know how many people you've missed out on if you've bailed on a meeting. Okay. You don't know how many people you've missed out on if you aren't the girl that goes to Kentucky or that guy. If that guy, the bigwig, hadn't shown up, I can tell you I wouldn't have signed up for that company. No offense to the other 6 people in the room, but it wouldn't have been enough. They didn't know what I was asking. Okay. If they had known to do third-party validation and I talked to him, maybe that would be different. But I'm a firm believer in you control what you can control. That's your calendar, your schedule, your attitude, your activity. Be extremely honest with yourself. And don't think that I have it all together. I am just a cluster of a mess sometimes. I've got pictures that I'm looking for of what my bathroom looked like one time when I went to do a 3-way call in the other room and my boys decided to dip 14 rolls of toilet paper piece by piece in the toilet and plaster it to the whole bathroom. Like my life can be a disaster. So were there times that I didn't do it right? Oh yeah. Were there times that I made a decision and I quit hoping and I took try out of my vocabulary and missed a promotion by a month? Yes. Yeah. But I kept going anyway. And I set the same attitude the next month. So I don't have it all together. My life's crazy. I've had to hide from my kids. I've cried before. My friends know I cry a lot, but I've cried about something before. But you learn and you realize that when you do those right things and you have that can-do attitude, just go. You never know when an Ashley Walmer is going to be on the other end of that phone and you're the three-way call, or when someone else is going to be sitting there at that wrap party that maybe your friend is hosting that's kind of on the fence about the business, but that girl or that guy sitting there might be ready to run with it.
Yeah, I know for us, when we signed up for this, I knew there's going to be those bad moments. Like, I'm an introvert. I don't like going to parties. I knew there's going to be uncomfortable moments. I knew we are going to go places and nobody would show up. I knew there'd be times where people told us no. And we said yes to this. I said, you know what? I am just going to have to laugh at those things. Those are just going to be a part of my story, and it's part of the fun. And what everybody watching this needs to know is that the most successful people in this business, they're the ones who drove the most to meetings for nobody to show up. They're the ones who got told no the most. But the thing is, they kept going and they kept having excitement. If you keep consistently doing what you're supposed to do, if you keep showing up, your business will go as far as you want to take it.
Well, yeah. Nicole has a fabulous question, but you go ahead, Ashley, and finish what you were going to say so you don't lose your train of thought.
Yeah, I definitely want to answer that too. One thing that you've taught me and showed me, and Cammie has too, is sometimes you guys have to be the runner until you find that runner. You have to be the one that does all the work on your team until to get your goal, right? It's your business, it's your goal, until you find that person that wants it. And I'll never forget, Aspen, when we were in our old company and I got on a conference call like this, just listening to you. I was in Michigan and you were in Nebraska, and you talked about a deck of cards. And I've never looked at my business the same. So will you just kind of address that and then maybe go into what Nicole's asking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's simple, and I'm probably not the only one that shared it with some of you before. It's just very true, and it kind of goes back to the science part that we talked about. That's the numbers part, that we're all handed, just kind of like I was saying, ambassadors and presidentials, their friends aren't better, right? They just stayed consistent. We're all handed that same deck of cards, right? We've got a deck of cards, and that each card represents people that varying degrees of closeness with these people. And you just start flipping. Okay, they're in the column and you're sorting. You get a couple twos. Not right now, not right now, not right now. Well, every once in a while, you're pretty fortunate, and the first couple cards that you flip are aces. Those aces are ready to roll. They're your people, like those ambassadors that went ambassador in 7 months. They get a few aces right out of the gate that just start running, and the duplication, get three, get three, get three, get three, just rolls with it. And sometimes you're someone that you might flip 14 cards, tell the story 14 times before you start getting even a 4 or a 7, and there's nothing wrong with people who are 4s and 7s. They're fine people, but they're not ready to run like your aces are. And I think if you just kind of view it that way, that don't put your emotions in any one card. Don't freak out when any one card pops up. And, I teach people to balance your highs and lows. And I don't want that to come out as don't ever get excited. But when you get really excited about somebody's potential, you tend to kind of stop what you're doing, turn and go this way and run after their potential, only to sometimes realize they're not ready, or they don't know what you know about them and they're not doing it. And then you kind of get frustrated. So Ashley's whole thought of be the runner until you're not is flip the cards and go launch the people. Flip the cards, tell the story, go launch the people. Flip the cards, go tell the story, launch the people. And be willing to do it all. Nobody cares as much about your kids as you. They're not building it so that you can be home. Nobody cares about your husband's second job or your student loans. It's not that they don't care about you as a person, but no one's going to want it as bad for you as you're going to want it. And I recognized that early on, that yes, I was enrolling some nice people that were 7s and 8s and 9s at the beginning, but I was ready to go, and I had to be willing to do all of it. And it was almost like stories in the Bible of sacrifice. Like the second Abraham showed the Lord that he was willing to sacrifice his son, he said, okay, wait, stop. And it was almost like as soon as I was ready to say, I'm willing to do it all, I'll go ambassador alone if I have to, which really we know that would be virtually impossible, but I was willing to do it. I'll do whatever I have to do. Then all of a sudden, I started flipping aces, because that attitude and that belief of I'm going to the top with or without you, my kids are worth it, my family deserves it, I want to take you with me, but if you're not ready to go, please just step aside for a second because I'm running and you're in the way, and that's okay. So be willing to do it, and then all of a sudden you look around and you have a team and they're working too.
Oh, I just
all right.
Goosebumps. Okay, so what happens when maybe you've been in another company before and didn't have success, or you've been in this and somebody asks you, how much money have you made yet, and you haven't made any because you've only been in for 2 weeks? Can you kind of address?
Yeah. Well, yeah, with the being in other companies, I'm going to steal something that I heard from a mentor of mine in another company where he talked about not everybody, is like Danny Bretz, who married her high school sweetheart and is still married 25 years later, right? Not everybody is like that. And some people in It Works are, this is their first experience and they're married. Mike Walmer never built anywhere else. He is married to It Works. He's here for life. But not everybody has that story. And so I think taking that posture with your friends when they say, well, I thought you were doing Scentsy and Pampered Chef and, Premier Jewelry. You know what? This is how I answered things like that. You know what? I have done a couple of other things before, and they have, had really good products that I'm still happy with. But I had never seen a business like this before. I didn't know what I was missing. And so, this is where I'm going to hang my hat when it comes to my career. I'm not a fan of bashing other companies or anything like that. I don't put down other companies, and I've used products from other companies, but making sure people understand that, yeah, I've dabbled elsewhere before. That's just like dating around. You've dated a few guys. You don't marry every guy you date, but you're ready to marry this one. And I think just saying that, you know what, I didn't really know exactly what I was looking for when I tried these couple of companies. I didn't understand a lot about compensation plans and looking at who owns the company. And really, I didn't really know a lot about choosing a company with a consumable product. And It Works is the whole package. It Works has everything that I'm looking for. And so I'm ready to partner with them as a long-term business. And you can say that without having to put down anything else. If you look through my purse, I've probably got makeup from some other companies, that are out there. So what was the second part of that? If you failed with other companies?
Well,
what was
you kind of addressed that, but I think the other thing I was going to ask you is say if somebody's only been in this for a little bit and one of their friends asked them how much money have you made? How would you coach them to be confident and answer that?
I love that question, honestly. And I think that's a really good one. And it's scary for a lot of us. And I remember in my first company, when you hit a certain rank of presidential, you earned a free white Mercedes. And I remember thinking, man, if I could just earn that car, everybody would flock to me. And in this, you guys are probably thinking, if I could just get that diamond bonus, or if I could just get that $30,000 double bonus, people would flock to me. And it is true that things kind of change and get a little bit crazy then. Walmers know that when they're sitting on 110,000 in bonus, it's like, wow, I thought you blocked me on Facebook. Oh, you want to join my team? Okay. But you have to have people that believe you on the way up. And so one of the things that I taught people to say was be honest. If they say to you, so Erica, you've been in for 3 days, so how much are you making? Don't be afraid to say, you know what? I haven't made anything yet. But you know what? I signed up with my friend Stephanie, and she is making great money. She's going to the top. She's already earned a $10,000 bonus, and I'm copying her. I'm following people who are making incredible money. I'm ready to run, and I'm going to be there too. That's where your confidence comes in right there. I'm copying the Walmers, and they have made $110,000 in bonuses plus X number of dollars a year since then. And they are personally coaching me. So I'm going where they're going. Or I've only earned $300 so far, but I earned it in 1 week of Fast Start bonuses. And I'm copying people who have incredible success. So pairing it like that, that's what I had to do to even get anybody to follow me, was say, I'm going to be here. this is who I'm following. I'll take you with me if you want to go. How do you respond to someone who says that It Works is a scam? Mike, do you want to take that one or do you want me to? Ashley, do you got anything good?
You have an answer prepared, but for me, I always ask what part they think is a scam. Or my favorite thing is if somebody goes, it's a pyramid scheme. I go, oh, what do you think a pyramid scheme is? And then no matter what answer they give, I go, oh, good news. It's not that, what you just said. So let's talk.
I love that. I love that. Bottom line, it's network marketing. Educate yourself a tiny bit on network marketing. I know most of you have, but it's a valid industry. There are a lot of wealthy business people in the world who've written books on how they've become successful. And there's always a chapter in there about how they wish they had gotten into network marketing or they did get their start in network marketing. Ben and Danielle Boyle, who live in Los Angeles, went triple and presidential this spring. Ben is an entrepreneur at heart. He joined a mastermind group where really smart business people get together, and their assignment was go find a network marketing company and build it to the top and then come back. You will grow as a person. It's a valid, legit form of business. So he researched for 3 months, interviewed top income earners in all sorts of companies, and chose It Works.
Wow.
Chose It Works. They're with John and Sherry Lynn Alcala, awesome, integrity-filled people. So it's an industry that's regulated by the Federal Trade Commission. It's a legitimate form of business when it's done right. 80% of female millionaires in the world are millionaires because of this industry. So when it's done right with a legitimate, awesome product and a fair compensation plan, it's an incredible channel of business. Basically, people choose, do you want to advertise on commercials and magazines and newspapers and billboards, or do you want to advertise word of mouth? And we'll pay the people instead of the advertisers.
And I think here's the most important thing. There is just, this business is changing so many lives. Just right here on the Zoom, the success stories and just amazing stories. I'll get all choked up if I start talking about, like, this is real. It's not a scam. We know it's not a scam. And the most important thing is that you can't let somebody saying that it's a scam or asking if it's a scam deter your belief. You can't let it diminish your belief in this. You know, most people, if they're going to dig in their heels, they think it's a scam. Most people, there's not anything you can say to change their mind. But the one thing you cannot let happen is have them calling it a scam diminish your excitement and belief for this. You can't have that one person saying that it's a scam stop you from sharing this from the one person who does need it, who is going to change their life. So it's our job to keep sharing this with excitement and go on and not let the doubters or naysayers take this away from people who do need it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when there's a company in this industry that pops up that really isn't doing it right, or it's a scam, it doesn't make it 16 years. Right. It just doesn't. So we're not saying every company's perfect. We're not saying even It Works is perfect. You know, we're working on things, but we're not a scam by any means. And I think the fact that we're 16 years old and debt-free and have actually won awards in this industry for our integrity, leadership, momentum, drive, and sales, that speaks volume. So yeah, there are a few bad apples that pop in here sometimes, and some company goes crazy for a couple of years and gets shut down because they're not doing it right. But those are the ones to be scared of. And that's where we take a firm stand on what we've got, you know, a firm stand with this company, because it's not different, it's right.
And I think we left out like one of the most obvious answers that we always tell our team. Somebody says it's a scam, feel, felt, found them. Acknowledge how they feel. And this is our story. Like, I was super skeptical. I thought it was a scam. If somebody tells me that it's a scam, I'd be like, you know what? I totally thought it was too. But you're not going to believe this. And I would tell them all about It Works and why it is different and why it did change my mind. Mm-hmm. So when you do the feel, you say, you know what? I know how you feel. You're acknowledging their feelings. So their defenses are lowering. And when you explain how you felt and they know that you can relate to how they feel, now they're going to be more open to hearing about why you did choose It Works, why it's not a scam.
Aspen, I know you have another call shortly, and we have a couple other things that we wanted to go over with you guys tonight. But is there anything else that you want to just leave with us, or was there anything else that you're like, oh, I want to make sure I tell them this, or?
I'm trying to see. Let's see. We covered a lot of what we had kind of discussed.
We did.
one thing I just want to leave you with, because I know a lot of you have super, super good hearts and are really loving, is something Kim Touchton, who's an ambassador in this company, actually shared with Ashley and I and a handful of others at dinner. And she said, if you're getting ready to send a message and you're feeling really awkward and yucky or weird about it, stop for a second, because you've just made it about you. Make it about them. And really that starts in your mindset. And she's an Army wife and they were sinking in debt. And she tears up when she says, I don't know where we would be without this. But she goes, I'm never scared anymore to message people because it is not about me. If they say no, that's okay. I cannot sleep at night if I am not offering this to people. And that is a mindset thing. Put sticky notes around your house that say, I have a gift. Who gets to open it today? Who gets to hear about it? Who gets to learn about it? And I love her heart. And that's why she's an ambassador. Because she's not out there selling anything. She is out there offering a chance to hear the story that could change their life. We know the products have changed people's health, but the business can truly change their finances. And when you make it about them, and Ashley's going to talk to you more about messaging since I have to go, but I want you to keep that in mind, whether it's a phone call like I encourage you to do, whether it's a wrap party like we're all encouraging you to do, whatever it is, make it about them. It's why Mike gets so choked up. Not only is he thinking of the blessings that this has done for his family, he knows every single person in his living room or at that one team, one mission that he's doing, he's got something to give them and it's about them. And when you make that switch, I know for me, like when I make that shift, when I'm doing a wrap party on the corporate page, I'm thinking, this is a gift. This is not about me. This is not about It Works Global. It's who is going to see this and their life is going to be changed. Because you never see anyone on stage saying, I really wish so-and-so had never reached out to me about this. They thank them every single day. And that's the gratitude you see in the Walmers when they get choked up. So keep that in mind. That comes from Kim Touchton. She's awesome. So I'll hop off and let you finish up. I know Ashley's going to talk about Going Ruby, and I know we have a couple people on here that are antsy to figure out how to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aspen. It's been such a pleasure.
You're welcome. Bye, Deborah. I saw you waving up there. We'll see you later. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Wasn't that awesome? Isn't she amazing? Okay, so I wanted to finish the call tonight with just two things. Messaging and how to go Ruby. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts of messaging really quickly. And if you guys want to look at a file in our team page, if you click on files, there is a file in there that says do's and don'ts, and it goes through a ton of things. But I wanted to just kind of go through, like, what does messaging look like? You guys all just heard her talk about creating that sense of urgency. I don't know about you, but as soon as I get off this call, I feel like I have a gift, right? That who gets to open it tonight? And I want to start messaging people. So here's the thing. I want to make sure I complete my steps to success every single month and enroll 3 new distributors. So how am I going to do that? I am going to, right now, work this business belly to belly. And that means that I'm going to message some people that I already know. Okay, your closest friends, family, people that you know. It's a lot easier to start with your warm market and then move to your cold market on social media. So we're going to talk about that for a second. When you're sending a message, I love that Aspen kind of started us perfect with that when she just said the whole, like, if you're feeling awkward, you're making it about you. Okay, keep it short. Try to keep it to about 2 to 3 sentences when you're first sending that first message, okay? The goal of your message, the goal of the conversation, remember, you don't have to send one long message and explain everything. You want to have a back and forth conversation with people, okay? So how does that start? The goal is to either get them on the phone like Aspen talked about, invite them to a one-on-one, invite them to a wrap party, or invite them online. Okay, you don't need to send this huge long message explaining everything. The next thing you're going to want to do is never answer a question that isn't asked. Okay, so if they say, yeah, I'm really interested in the wraps, how much do they cost? Your answer isn't, Well, they cost $59 and they tighten, tone, and firm in 45 minutes, and you want to make sure you drink lots of water. And if you get confused, all you have to do is call me, okay? Don't do that. They're never going to respond, okay? Because you just gave them way too much information and they're like, oh, this girl's crazy town, okay? So I've done this. This is from my own personal experience. So always respond with questions, all right? So you can answer their questions, say, well, it retails at $99. You can get my discount at $59. What are your goals that you're really wanting to achieve with this? Ask questions. The person that's asking questions is always in control. So make sure you always end with a question. You always respond with a question, and never answer a question that isn't asked. All right, Mike talked a little bit about objections that feel, felt, found. But when you guys are messaging with people and, you know, I've had this happen, right, where you send them a message and you're super, super excited. You really want them on your team, and they're like, oh, I've been following you. It looks like you're having so much fun, but I just don't think it's for me. How many of you have immediately sent them a message that said, okay, thank you, sorry for bothering you. Oh, sorry. You know, that whole thing. I did that a ton. And what I realized is, you guys, that was me for 16 years. Nobody took the time to say, why are you so skeptical about their app? Well, I don't think I know how it works. Nobody asked those questions. They just kind of let me go. So here's the thing, you guys, when somebody gives you an objection, well, the first thing, even if they don't give you an objection and they just say, you know what, I don't think it's for me, I think the first thing I would do is send them a message back and say, yeah, I didn't think it was for me either. Why do you think that way? Or what makes you feel that way? Okay, ask them another question. Then they're going to say something like, well, I'm not a really good salesperson. I've never done sales before. Okay, this is where you do feel, felt, found. Every single time, you guys, okay? Feel, felt, found. You know what? I totally know how you feel. I felt the same way. I've never really been in sales before, but what I found is actually the people that are in sales aren't very good at this. It's the people that get business, or the people that get people, and you are an awesome people person. Everybody loves you. You would kill it in this. Okay, so I'm feel, felt, founding them, and then I'm also instilling in them like hey, you'd be great at this. Give them a compliment. So I do that with every single thing. Never send people to your website, okay? Here's why. You have all the answers. And if you don't, I do. And the team page does, and your upline does. Okay, if they're getting ready to sign as a customer, don't give them your website. They won't sign up. Or I would say very few of them do, because guess what happens? They go to your website and then their kids start screaming, or their husband walks in, hey, what's for dinner? Oh my gosh, totally forgot. Okay, I'll do that right now. And guess what? They don't sign up as a customer, right? Where instead, okay, say, hey, I'm throwing in orders for the night. I can throw yours in too real quick. What's your email address and home address? We have that whole script in the scripts on our team page of how you get their info and how you put them in the system. If they're saying, hey, can I have some more info on your products? Don't say, yeah, go check out my website. Click shop. Say, perfect. I would love to give you more info. What info would you like? Or what products are you interested in? What do you already know? See how I'm asking multiple questions? Okay, if they're talking to you about business, some people are like, hey, can you send me an email flyer? Can you, send me over some info to know about the business? Great. Okay, you're their info. You're not sending them anything. You're their info. Great. I would love to send you some more info. What do you already know? What questions do you have? Those questions that they have, you're the info. You're going to be the one answering them, okay? So here's a phrase that I always think about when I'm talking to people, when I'm messaging people, is the phrase called KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it simple. And I've changed it because it's supposed to say stupid, and I don't like that. So silly. Keep it simple, silly. Okay? So if a 5-year-old cannot understand what you're telling somebody, you're overcomplicating it. You're not kissing enough. Okay? So if somebody is like, how do we make money? Don't send them the compensation plan. Don't try to explain the compensation plan. Okay? Just keep it really simple. Well, we get paid in a couple of different ways. We get paid to throw apps on people. We get paid $100 weekly bonuses, and then we get a monthly commission. Super simple. Okay? Any question that they ask, just kiss. And then you guys just don't overthink it. Kind of like what Aspen said. You know, there's another girl in this business who says, like, if you're starting to send a message and you feel like you're stuck, you're not being authentic. You're not being real. And you guys, same thing with scripts. Scripts are amazing, but if it's not you, don't send it or change it. Take the like bones of it, but change it. Put your personality to it. Ask the last question the way that you would ask it. Cami always, like, anytime she's trying to like follow up with somebody, she always does that on the scale of, 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being never talk to me again, 10 being are you ready to sign up now? Where are you? Okay, that's her. I would never ever say that. Okay, for me, what I say to people is hey, what's holding you back from getting started? I know you are super excited about this. What would it take to get you to do this with me? That's just more me. Cami kills it on the scale of 1 to 10. And I know there's people on here on this team that you guys use that all the time and it works for you. But that's not something I would say. So I'm not going to say that. It feels weird and awkward for me. And if I feel weird and awkward, guess what? I don't send the message. Okay? So make it about you. Now I want to share, I'm going to screen share with you guys. I have 2 lovely ladies that gave me permission to share some of their scripts. So here's the thing. How many of us, and I want to see a raise of hands, when you first started in this business, whether it was a year ago, last month, or this week, have sent some messages that you look back and you want to do the monkey emoji where you go like this and you're like, oh, I can't believe I sent that. Okay, show of hands. Okay, how many of you felt like when you sent a message you said way too much and you like threw up all over them with your words? Okay, here, me, right here, said way too much. In fact, because I grew up with Cami, when I was in the company that I was with Aspen, I sent Cami a message and it was like, hello, I'm throwing up all over you. It was ridiculous. It's so embarrassing to look back at, okay? So we can all just laugh about our embarrassing text messages and Facebook messages that we sent to our best friend or our sister, right? Okay, I want to move us forward. So there are 2 girls that I absolutely love and adore, Stephanie Johnson and Kathleen Gustin. And the reason why I'm using this as an example is because I was just in Nebraska last week working with them. And Steph and I met for a couple hours, and the whole goal was she wanted to have me help her message. And here's another thing, you guys. She is awesome. She kills it. If any of you get a chance to be around her, you will fall in love with her. She's built to the top of another company before, so this isn't her first rodeo, which means she should know how to message people, right? We all do. But what happens when we get in something new? We get so excited and we just want to tell everybody, right? And so you say things like, I'm so excited. I just started this new company. It's called It Works. We have a wrap. It tightens, tones, and firms. If you don't like that, there's some greens that you could do. Hey, I'm having a party on Wednesday night. If you want to come. If you don't come, that's okay. We have an online party too. Hey, do you think you'd be interested? Okay, that's what we all do because we're so excited. But here's the thing, you guys, they don't know what we know. So our excitement isn't going to translate very well to them. They're just going to think we're weird. Okay, so I'm going to show you what Steph and Kathleen sent to a few people. Because when Steph met with me, she's like, okay, how do I respond to this? And I'm like scrolling and reading and I'm like, okay, so you just had a whole conversation in just one message. What we want to do is we want to break that down. We want to send this first part, let them respond, and then send the next part, and then let them respond, and then we're going to send the next part, okay? So I'm going to show you guys just an analogy of what some of your messages probably have looked like, okay? And then I'm going to show you how we've tweaked it and how they are now getting awesome results. Okay. Sorry guys. Can you all see my screen? Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. Here's one. Hey, I don't know if you've seen what I've started this summer, but I would love for you to check it out. The company's called It Works. Chad and I have had great success with the products. I'm super excited about the business side too. I have 2 ways you can check it out. Tonight there's an online Facebook party. You can watch it from your home. I can send you the link, or I'm going to have a wrap party on Thursday. I'd love for you to join me. We are sharing this with some of our family and friends. It's okay if it's not for you. We just like people to check it out. What do you think? Happy Wednesday, okay? So that right there is a conversation, all right? Here's another one. Hey, Jody, I wanted to reach out to you to share what I'm doing with a company called It Works. I'm having a group of people from my team over to my house at 7 o'clock to see what's going on and to look at products. I know it's short notice, but you are welcome to come. I can send you an invite, and if you can't make it, it will be live to watch on the Zoom app. If you simply want to call me, we can chat about that too. Sorry if this is random. I just had to reach out to you, okay? Same thing with the last one. Hey, Becky, it's so fun catching up with you on Facebook. Kids are getting so big, you know, yada, yada, yada. Are you back at work? You know, she's catching up with her a little bit. So the real reason I wanted to message you is because I have a question for you that you may seem kind of out of the blue. I see a young mom like you in this business I'm building right now, and I would love to share what I'm doing. Our team is growing, and the opportunity is incredible. So, okay, you guys, all of this that they're saying is awesome. It's a conversation. It's not a first message. And the one thing I told them is we want to catch up with people on social media. When you inbox them, it's all business. So go to their page and find a picture of their kids, comment like on there, okay? That's going to go really well with your Facebook algorithms. But then when you send them a message, it's all business, okay? So that way you don't feel like getting stuck in this back and forth kid talk, family talk, and then you're sitting there the whole time going, oh, how do I bring up it works? All I want to do is bring up it works. And you feel so random because you've just talked to them for a half an hour and you haven't even said what you wanted to say. Okay, so here's what we decided to say instead. So that first message was the whole, I don't know if you've seen what we started this summer, great success. We turned that into, hey girl, I'm not sure if you've seen what Kathleen and I have been up to, but we were just talking about how awesome you would be at this. You should do this with us. Okay? Hey, happy Friday. I'm not sure if you've seen what I've been up to, but when I think of someone that would be amazing at this, that person is you. You have insert something personal, such a great personality. You're so driven. I just love being around you. I would love for you to at least check this out. What do you say? Okay. So here's the thing. You're going to send that first initial shorter message, and then whatever they respond to, you guys, that's when you start maybe inviting them over to your party. Okay. So if they're like, yeah, sure, I'd love to hear more. Perfect. What works for you? Tomorrow or Thursday night at 7. Okay, give them 2 options. Then if they're like, well, what is it? Well, hey, you're going to hear about everything on Thursday night, but we have a wrap that tightens, tones, and firms. Then you guys, if you wrapped, send them your before and after picture and be like, check this out. Get them excited, okay? So you don't feel like you need to send this whole long, lengthy thing. And here's the thing, you guys, when we tweaked some of those messages for Steph and Kathleen, they started getting responses. I think Steph and I spent 2 hours sending those messages, and when I left Nebraska, she had 6 appointments between that day and tomorrow, Tuesday. And I know she's already signed 1 distributor and possibly another. So you guys just tweak a little bit about what you're doing, and that's why also send those screenshots to us in your upline, because we can help you figure out what to say. Because guess what? I sent those messages too. And I had to learn. Cammie had to be like, "Ooh, you did not just send that." And I was like, "Yes, I did. See, it says sent, and they checked. That means they read it and they saw it. They didn't respond. It was sent. Yep, I did it." So here's the thing, you guys. We've all been there, okay? So I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of the anatomy of messaging, what good, bad messages look like, how to have that conversation with them. Next thing I want to do is, here's the thing, is talking about Ruby. We want all of you guys going Ruby this month. I want to see as many people earning that Ruby box as possible. And if you're already Ruby, guess what? You get to help everybody on your team go Ruby. And if you help 3 people go Ruby on your team, you just went diamond and earned either the $10,000 bonus or the $5,000 bonus. Not too shabby. I'm not going to feel bad that I didn't earn a $200 Ruby box when I just helped 3 of my friends earn that, and I just hit a huge promotion, right? So I want to talk to you guys about how to go Ruby. And maybe you're on here and you're already Ruby and you need to learn, or you look at this of going, okay, how can I teach this to my team? Or maybe you're on here tonight and you're brand new and you've not gone Ruby yet and you want to know how and what that looks like. I'm going to wrap this up in about 2 minutes. Super, super quick. Okay, guys? All right, I'm going to screen share and show you guys this picture. How do I move this? All right, so this is what a Ruby looks like. And what Mike says that I love is you guys, you just need to find 3 people, 3 distributors. Who do you want to spend more time with, hang out with? Who needs extra money? Who has a great personality? Who's your best friend, your sister, your cousin, your neighbor?
I know no matter who you are on this video that you are not so unlikable we can't find 3 people to do this business with you. I know we can do it.
Okay, so this is what Ruby looks like. You have 1, 2, 3 distributors on your team, okay? Each getting them to 400 in sales. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then you make one of those 3 people your executive, which means that you help them go find 2 people that want to do this business with them as well. It doesn't have to be that first person you sign up. Okay, say you sign up your best friend, and then say your neighbor signs up. But your neighbor says, hey, I've got a sister, and she might want to do this, and she signs up. Okay, she's now your executive. It doesn't have to be that first person in your business. So what Ruby looks like, I want you guys to write down on a piece of paper 1 through 5, okay? Step 1 of going Ruby. I'm going to simplify all of this for you guys, okay? Make sure that you are set up on an 80 BV auto ship. You're going to be a product to the product. We're not going to get into all the reasons why, but that is the first step of going Ruby. I don't know a single person on our team that has gone Ruby without setting up their 80 BV auto ship and then teaching their team to do that same thing, okay? 1, so set up your 80 BV auto ship. 2, step 2 of going Ruby. Enroll 4 new loyal customers this month, okay? If you signed up last month and you're wanting to go Ruby this month, your goal is to find 4 new loyal customers this month, okay? Then step 3, number 3, is enroll 3 new distributors this month, okay? 3 new distributors. You've signed up 2 months ago and you're not yet Ruby. Guess what? This month, we're going to help you sign 3 new distributors, okay? Step 4, ask yourself, who's my leader? Out of those 3 people, who's my leader? Who wants to run with this with me? Who wants to do this with me? You're going to identify that person, and then you're going to help them find just 2 distributors this month, okay? Just 2. Step 5 is we're going to have everybody get to the 400 club. So what that means is each one of those 5 distributors on your team are going to hit 400 in sales. And when they do that, they get into something called the 400 Club, which is a super awesome Facebook page with a bunch of ambassadors giving you tips and tricks all month long. There's somebody assigned to it every single day of the week, okay? So what that looks like is, so once you have your 5, you're going to help all 5 of those DTs on your team enroll about 4 to 5 loyal customers each, okay? Once you do that, you're Ruby. You guys, that's all it takes. Those 5 steps. ADBV auto ship, enroll 4 customers, sign 3 distributors, figure out who your leader is and help them sign 2 distributors, and get everybody, all 5 of those people, getting 4 to 5 customers, okay? It can be done in a week. We did it in 2 weeks. It can definitely be done by the end of the month. You just have to decide if you want it and do like all the stuff that Aspen was talking about. Decide if you want it. Is your, are you going for it? Are you running for it? Take the option off the table that you're not going to hit it and just do it, you guys. Don't try, do it. Those five steps. Erica, when you said what exactly is that, what are you talking about, honey? Could you just type in the chat? What do you want me to clarify? What is what? And then once she does that, we're going to end, you guys. That's all I've got for you. I'm sorry this went so long, but I think everything that Aspen talked about was just super, super powerful and amazing. And I hope that you guys feel like you have what it takes now to hit the ground running, for you to go Ruby, or for you to help your team go Ruby. Okay, 80 BV. Okay, I will talk about that if you want me to. So 80 BV auto ship. In order to get paid in this business, we each have to have an 80 BV auto ship on. Okay, so what that looks like for most people is a box of wraps, screens on the go, just getting to 80 BV. BV is the point value that's attached to every single product that we carry, okay? So once you hit ADBV, you are commission qualified, you're ready to go, you can start earning income. Now there's another way that you can be commission qualified. You can also hit 150 in PBV, 150 in sales. So if you have a mom that signs up and spends $100, and then you sign up a girlfriend that spends $25 and another girlfriend that spends $25, you've just hit 150 in sales. You don't have to run your auto ship, but leaders run their auto ship. The reason why is because if somebody returns one of those orders, you're not going to get paid. You won't be able to promote, and I don't want that to happen, you guys. And when you're on auto ship and you're teaching your team to be on auto ship, everybody's doing it. We're all using the products. You know, if somebody were to ask me, how do the greens work? How do you like the greens? I'm like, I haven't tried them. I don't know. Well, I want to see your wrap results. Have you wrapped? What has it done for you? I don't know. I haven't wrapped yet. What about, have you tried the new shake? What does it taste like? Oh, I don't know. I haven't tried it. Do you see what I'm getting at? You guys want to be able to say, oh my gosh, the shake tastes amazing. It's so delicious. I've actually just lost 10 pounds on it. What? I want to lose 10 pounds. How do I get it? You can actually get it from me, and I can give you my discount. I'm actually throwing in some orders tonight. Do you want me to throw yours in too? What's your email address and home address? Okay? It's super simple, you guys. You just got to be consistent with it. So I think hopefully that was perfect. Okay, understood. Is there a way to recover someone that you vomited on? Yes.
Sometimes it takes a little bit more time. You won't have to give more time, but yeah, there are ways to recover from that. And if you have specific examples, you can, I guess, reach out to you personally about that.
Well, I mean, I think we can just say real quick, because I feel like a lot of people have done that before. Steph definitely had done that, and she said the same thing. She's like, how do I even recover from this person? Okay, it's super easy to just send them a message that says, hey, I'm not sure if you got my message or not, but I really would like to talk to you about this. Okay, something super simple. I know something that Mel does is she does what's called a wow factor follow-up. If it's been a couple of days, she'll just simply say something like, I really hope I didn't say anything to offend you.
She's not saying they didn't respond. She's saying it's too much.
Yeah, but that's also, a wow factor follow-up is also something that you can do if you've said too much a couple days later. Just saying like, hey, I hope that I didn't say anything to offend you. Okay. And then they'll probably respond and say something, because chances are if you vomited and said too much, they haven't responded to you. I don't know very many people that do respond to a super, super long message. They just kind of ignore it. Okay. So I'm trying to think, Steph, was there a specific thing or somebody in your mind that you could think of real quick that we messaged that you're like, oh, I said way too much to that person, that we kind of saved the conversation? Can you think of one of those? Is there one that you could pull up real quick? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. If you can't, and if you're doing something else or taking notes, that's okay. Can you think of one?
Yeah, there was one. I'm looking for it. And what, you just kind of want me to tell you what we said to recover from my tragedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one, and that was the one that I sent you that I had sent a launch, and then I'd followed up again, and then that was the one that you had posted when we talked about, I'm not sure if you've seen what Kathleen and I have been up to, but you'd be great at it.
Oh, and then super simple one?
Yeah, and then she replied back to it. So, yeah.
That's a great learning experience, you guys. So she sent so what I showed you guys, one of those super long messages, she sent to one of her girlfriends. And then like maybe a couple days later, like I just had her send the whole, just kind of resend something again, like act like what you vomited on didn't happen, and just say, hey, I'm not sure if you've seen what I've been up to, but I do think you'd be really great at what I'm doing. You know, when's a good time to get together? Or have you seen what I've been up to?
And so there's another one that we didn't do together, but I did that same thing when I first started and sent her a super long message. And then I followed up very briefly. I actually followed up with her 3 times, and she actually she signed up on Sunday. But I switched over to texting her just a couple times. and used really short little snippets. And when she came over, I don't even know if she knew what she was coming over for. Or even
I love that.
So I just used that strategy, of paring everything down and just remembering that really is less is more.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, I am so proud of all of you guys that have stayed on. This has gone really, really long, and I'm very sorry, but I think that what we covered tonight was awesome. I'm super excited. So I'm going to say goodnight to all of you, and I can't wait to start getting some screenshots from some of you guys or hearing from your leaders that people are sending me screenshots and we're having good conversations with people and people are signing up. So my goal this month is to sign 4 new customers and 3 new distributors. Okay, that's what our goal is every month. So I'm super excited for you guys to do that as well. All right, everybody, I hope you have an awesome night, and we will see you again next Monday night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.